Alright, what is up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, we are going to be looking at a purple-yellow crocodile list. Guys, you know, this is a deck that I was monitoring very closely for a while, but I kind of fell out of sync with it, where I just couldn't really, I couldn't find the time to play test this card. I just couldn't do it. And or this leader, this deck, whatever. I just couldn't find the time for it, unfortunately. But we are seeing a list come out of the East in the OP-05 meta that, you know, I'm not sure how big the tournament was. If anyone knows how big the tournament was, by all means, you know, hit us up in the comment section below and tell us. But in this sea of meta decks, you know, this entire ocean of meta decks here, a purple-yellow crocodile list pops up. So, of course, we got to check it out. So, real quick, this is from the East, okay? This is from the East, but there's not a whole lot of different cards in this deck than what we can run in the West. As in, there's only 2 cards in the entire list that are from OP-05. And that is Miss Doublefinger here, which is a 4-cost, 4K, 2K counter that has on play, you may trash 1 card from your hand, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck, and rest it. This is a nice way to catch back up on Dawn when you're having to you know, set yourself back over the course of the game. Trigger, Dawn -1, play this card. Okay, and then we have Gidatsu here, which is a 5-cost, 6K, 1000 counter that has on play, KO up to 1 of your opponent's characters with cost equal to or less than their life. Your opponent's life. So very, very strong cards. So, you know, part of me thinks that like maybe we are going to have to wait till OP-05 to give this deck a try again. But this is still a very promising list. I will say that. I think this list looks a little bit more my style than the last one. And I'm going to run through the list real quick, and then we're going to look at the last list as well that we looked at for this on my channel about 1 month ago. So first up, we have 3 Queens, 4 Jacks, 3 Crocodile, 4 Miss All Sunday, 4 Miss Valentine, 3 Mr. 13, 4 Miss Doublefinger, 2 Katakuri, 3 Charlotte Linlin, the 7-cost Linlin, of course, because the 10-cost is leader locked to some extent. Like, you could still play it in another deck, but you won't get the effect. 4 Gang Beige, 3 Yamato, 4 Gidatsu, 3 Blast Breath, 3 Hell's Judgment, and 3 Colors Trap. So just to put this into perspective, the last deck that we looked at on this channel that was purple and yellow looked more like this. So you're looking at 4 Udas, 4 Black Maria, or Maria, however you say that, 4 Mr. 4 Babe. It's a little more of a blocker intense list, but no 5-cost Queen, by the way, because they're going with the Mr. Babe package. And I get why they did that, because, so remember, one of the 2K counters, I already forgot their name, Miss Doublefinger, excuse me, they're not available in OP-04, they're an OP-05 card. So you can only search up this card, the Mr. 13 and Miss Friday, the Miss Valentine, the Miss All Sunday, and Crocodile. That's a pretty limited search, because this is Water 7, by the way, guys, this Jet Gatling. But that's a very limited search. You're only able to get 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. 20 is not horrible. Like, that's definitely doable for a top 5 search. And unless this translation is incorrect, she can even search up herself. So that's better than nothing. You know, it's establishing tempo. It's a trigger play. You know, Dawn -1 to use your leader's effect. You know, it's fine, right? Everything's fine here. But in your 5 slot, you're having to run this Mr. 4 Babe, which is not a bad card, by the way. You know, when the opponent attacks Dawn -1, this card gets a blocker and plus 1,000 for the battle. So they're a 5-cost 7K blocker. That is, you know, absolutely fine. That's absolutely solid, searchable, and everything. However, it's not Queen, right? Like, so it's not Queen. We would rather have that. But then what do we replace the card with? Since we're going up the Queen here, there's our 5 spot, and we already have a Miss All Sunday for a 5 spot as well. Well, now, in OP-04, or excuse me, OP-05, we can get this 2K counter. You see what I'm saying? It kind of justifies what's going on there. And this person even added a Colors Trap, which is searchable as well. Colors Trap is kind of cool in the sense that it's a 1-cost event, Dawn -1. Up to one of your leader character cards gains plus 1,000 power during this battle. Then, rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. The triggers add up to 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck and set as active. But this effect is actually not that bad, especially against decks that are trying to swing wide. Like, okay, you're going to 1k counter out for 1 to stop your, to stop the 5k attack at your leader, right? That's like the idea here. And then you'll just tap down one of their other characters that costs 4 or less. So this could potentially be a very punishing card. Very solid. And it has Dawn -1. So remember what that does in a deck like this. Crocodile is giving you a Dawn back on your opponent's turn whenever you return a Dawn. Which this is a counter. You can only use this on your opponent's turn. Well, that's perfect. So you're going to return 1 Dawn card, and then Crocodile is going to put it back into play active. So now you can do another Color's Trap if you need to, or a Blast Breath. It just does a lot. And one thing that this deck is running that I think is very interesting is it's running Jack. Did I even read through this list, guys? I'm sorry. I think I did. Yeah, I did. Jack is a 3-cost 4K. That's whatever. That's nothing crazy. But on play, you can discard a card from your hand to add a Dawn card and set it as active. That's pretty nice, guys. This is pretty good. Because you have a lot of Dawn minus effects in this deck. You've got Crocodile, you've got Queen, you've got the Color's Trap like we just looked at with Hell's Judgment and Blast Breath. You have this character's effect. And a lot of triggers that Dawn -1 as well, like this and this. So it does become, a slippery slope. You're going in the wrong direction with your Dawn development. So playing a card like Jack, and now having access to a card like Miss Doublefinger, which is going to let you, you're going to be able to play this to ramp, or you're going to be able to, this is a really interesting effect here with Miss Doublefinger. 4 cost, 4,000 power, 2k counter, right? Let's say you get the trigger, though. Okay, so that means it's on your opponent's turn, right? Okay, well, you're going to Dawn -1 to play this card. Well, Dawn -1 is going to turn on your leader's effect, right? So, okay, now we get a 1 Dawn set as active if it's the first time we've done this turn. Well, when Miss Doublefinger comes into play, if you need to, you can trash a card from your hand and add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and rest it. So it kind of works as a Dawn ramp. You see what I'm saying? Like, yes, you'll trash a card from hand, but you're ramping a Dawn, or you're potentially ramping a Dawn if you do this on play effect. We know what Miss All Sunday does. This ramps a card as well. So now, like, the way that this deck is built, the way it's laid out, is you have a 3-cost mana ramp, or Dawn ramp, excuse me, a 4-cost Dawn ramp, and a 5-cost Dawn ramp. So very, very nice the way that this is laid out. This deck makes a lot of sense. 3 Crocodiles, we already know what this does. The way that this deck runs compared to the other one, this list was very straightforward. 4 Crocs, 4 Yamato, 4 Katakuri for the boss package. This list is a little more split up so that it can fit in the 7-cost Lin. And we'll talk about this in a second. So you're looking at 3 Crocodiles, 3 Yamato, 3 Lin, and only 2 Katakuris. I really like going down to 2 Katakuris. There are a few different decks out there that can run 3 or 4 Katakuris. And this list could. This list could run 3 or 4 if it needed to. But I really, really like the Charlotte Lin better here. And I'll explain why in a second. But this list is kind of all over the place with the bosses, which is nice. It's giving you more utility, more options, more versatility. So let me go ahead and explain real quick before I forget why I think 7 Lin is good in this deck. Let's talk about, like, the perfect curve. Okay, number 1, it's just going to be, even if you just play Jack without trashing a card from hand, right? Which I would trash the card from hand to get this effect if I could, or if it made sense to. But, okay, so we'll go Jack, right? So turn 3, Jack. Now we're going to be at 4 Dawn. Next turn we're at 6 Dawn, right? Well, we can just use that to help out our attacks or sit on counters for our opponent's turn. You still want to play on curve, I think, with a deck like this. Because you'll just go, all right, play Jack, play Miss All Sunday, and you see where this is going now. And then you can just skip straight to Yamato, right? Because you go from 6 to 9 the next turn. That's a possibility as well. But even if you don't get all this ramping like we're saying, going 3 with Jack, 5 with Miss All Sunday or Queen, or maybe that's probably the better thing to do is with Queen, like go Jack straight into Queen, straight into Charlotte Linlin. Like, yeah, you see where this is very possible. And then, of course, Gadatsu. And I will say this, the one weak spot in the deck does seem like this 3 spot here. Like, this card is fine, but it's too bad that there's not another 3-cost card in the deck. Like this one doesn't really do anything, for those who don't know. This is an activate main. It's a 2K counter, but it's a 3-cost. You may trash this character and one of your characters with a type, including Baroque Works. Add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. So you see what's going on there. You're going to kind of ramp Dawn in a weird way, which is not the worst thing in the world, I guess, because you could use it with your your Searcher to ramp. But I think ultimately this is just a 2K counter. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But long story short, I think the Charlotte Linlin is nice because your 3-5-7 curve is really, really strong. Even if you are going past it, like say you're at 8 Dawn, you still play Linlin and you sit on a Blast Breath. You know, it's just or a Colors Trap. It's just kind of lined up for you. Especially if your curve goes, you know, even if you play like Valentine on 3 Dawn, right? Like, okay, I'll do a top 5 search. Maybe I'll grab a Crocodile. And then on 5 Dawn, I'll play my Gadatsu to KO one of your characters. And then on 7 Dawn, I go Charlotte Linlin. It's just got a lot going on for it. So really cool list. You know, I really want to try this. This is one of the decks that has eluded me for some time now, where I just don't have the time to play it, unfortunately. I've been putting a lot of work into Black-Yellow Charlotte Linlin. That's, for those who don't know, that is my deck of choice. That's like my main deck. But I really do like this list. I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say about it. What do y'all think about this deck list versus the one over here? This one is the one we looked at on the first video, or well, not the first video, excuse me, the last video that I did of Purple Yellow Crocodile. So really good stuff here. It's a new deck, right? Like that's the thing for me. For those who don't know me well enough yet, like I'm really big on trying new decks out. I don't typically like to play what is meta. Now, I'm probably going to play Blue-Black Sakazuki just because, you know, this is everything I've ever wanted in a leader for the most part, right? Like, black is the color that got me into this game, and it's what appealed to me the most. But then over time, blue ended up being better at removing characters than black, and that's the reason I went black, is because I thought that'd be about, you know, being able to take care of any characters on the field. Well, no, now that's just blue. Hey, well, why don't we just combine them, and then we'll have a super removal deck. So that's perfect. So I will probably be playing Sakazuki regardless of the fact that it's meta or not, just because it's everything I want in a deck. But whenever a cool deck pops up like this, you guys know I have to cover it. Purple Yellow Croc, and then look, everything else is pretty much meta. You know, there's probably a few decks down here. Here's a random 3-1 showing for Iceberg, but you guys get the point. A VV deck. Every now and then they pop up, these cool random decks, but purple, yellow, anything that has yellow in it and anything that has black in it, I'm probably going to be covering that, just like hands down. Those are my 2 colors in this game that I resonate with the most. They complement my playstyle the most. Alright, so that's about it for today's video, guys. Just a quick little update. I wanted to show you all this really cool deck. Y'all know me. I'm always on the lookout. I'm always on the lookout for cool new decks that are popping up, so we can talk about it and see how everybody feels. Get some, you know, bounce around some ideas and try to take each deck to the next level. Alright, guys, that's about it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, guys, peace.